Welcome back to the Route 281 podcast. I'm your host, Tim Ladich. If you haven't done so already, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, leave a comment, like, share this thing wherever you can. I appreciate it. Okay, some guests you find, and some guests find you. And then there's the ones that were a part of your story. You just lost track of each other for a while. My next guest is somebody I haven't sat across from in nearly 30 years. From our times at the Somerset County Fair and tailgates in the middle of the field, we went our separate ways and life took us down very different roads. His road happened to include a United States Army uniform, a Bronze Star, a Meritorious Service Medal, an Army Commendation Medal, and more campaign and service medals than I can list. He's a Somerset High School graduate, a University of Pittsburgh alum, and a graduate of the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College. He retired as a lieutenant colonel in the Army, and these days he splits his time between Somerset County, where he's from, and his farm in Missouri, where he hunts, manages whitetail deer, and manages predator populations throughout the property by trapping. So after nearly 30 years, I'm happy to sit down with Lieutenant Colonel, retired Jason Weigle. Do you guys ever have fishers down there?
Not in Missouri.
Not in Missouri. I saw one the other night on Laurel Hill Creek. I do like to trout fish, and I go when I can.
Okay.
And
yeah, I seen one here years ago, but out there, no fishers. The strangest thing we had out there that I seen and I've never seen before, and I caught one, and I actually saw two the other day, and I didn't shoot them because they were just neat to see. Was American badgers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Looked like a regular badger. I mean,
yeah, badger. I mean,
badger's a badger.
Yeah.
I remember they were an issue. We went on a snowmobile trip up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan one time, and they said you gotta watch out for them crossing the trail because you ride at night.
Yeah.
You know, they said watch out for them suckers because you hit one, it's going to be a wallop. You know.
Oh yeah, they're big. They're big.
That and deer.
Yeah, I caught one that weighed 28 pounds.
Holy cow!
And then I saw these two other ones, and it was the first time I ever seen them. Like I caught the one. It was in a trap, and it was all, like, exhausted. I never saw one, like, during the day, so I saw these two, and I had my rifle. I was, like, watching them. I was going to shoot them, because I shoot any predator. But, like, it was just neat to watch them, like, the interaction they had with each other, and they were at an anthill. Yeah. And they were digging at this anthill and eating the freaking ants. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I guess I'll let them
You ever get them on a trail cam or anything?
Yeah, like, occasionally I would get this one. So I thought there was only one badger in the whole area, and he kept coming down this one ditch. So I dug in a dirt hole set with a big flashy dirt hole, and next morning I had them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you learn to trap? Did you trap here?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like trial and error.
Yeah.
And then trial and error a little bit from my dad, a little bit from a neighbor. And then like there's some local trappers around here that had like a trapper's school. I was like 18.
Yeah.
And I went to it for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Just learned a couple little things, and I trapped around here before I went to college. Well, while I was in college and before I joined the Army. And it was just something I always piddled around with a little bit. Never really had time when I was in the Army. But once I retired and I got that land, it was just like...
You were trapping different things in the Army.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a little crossover there maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with ordinances, I guess.
Yeah.
Setting traps.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Setting traps for people, setting traps for deer, setting traps for predators. It's all...
You got to think like them, though, right?
Yeah, a lot of the same concepts.
Yeah. This episode is sponsored in part by SDC Building Center, your hometown source for quality building materials and friendly know-how. I use them on my own jobs, and they always come through. So whether you're building, remodeling, or just fixing up some things around the house, check out SDC Building Center in Somerset. Yeah. Well, you can throw these on.
Okay.
It'll help you if you hear anything funny. Just tell me. You know, like if something with the audio would go.
Oh, okay.
It's what you're hearing your voice. But
if I start hearing things.
Yeah, if you start hearing things, which we might.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, it's been a long time, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
About 30 years, what I come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I told you, I've had several other veterans on, and to me, like I think when I told you on the phone that military service was always something that intrigued me, and then life got busy, and by the time it was almost too late, I looked into it.
Yeah.
And my wife, she's supportive. She would have supported me if I wanted to go. Like she was like, and then I just decided it was, I had a family at that point.
Yeah.
Not right. But I have so much respect for the guys that do, and thank you for your service.
Yeah, sure thing.
And that's pretty awesome to me. But yeah, so you're back in town. Split your time between here and Missouri now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I'll go back to like third. When we were hanging out at the Somerset County Fair about 30 years ago.
Okay.
I'll say that I didn't, and I don't know if you were thinking military at the time, and you can tell me, but I'm like, when I saw you had done your military service, I was like, wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have expected it of me or probably any of our buddies back then either.
Yeah.
But so what clicked for you that you decided that you wanted to join the military?
I really couldn't have pinpointed it, and never really would have thought that I'd done it like during that time frame that we were in. There's just a few things that happened. I was thinking about maybe getting into law enforcement while I was in college, but while I was in college, or I guess it would have been the summer that I graduated, I was kind of thinking about maybe the military, whatever. Well, then September 11th hit.
Yeah.
And that kind of impacted me a little bit because it was local, and at the time I was in the application process for both the Maryland and the Pennsylvania State Police.
Okay.
But then I was kind of
You were done with college at that. You were done with University of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I just graduated.
Okay.
Yeah. I was working a new enterprise at the time up at the Bakersfield Quarry as a laborer, and so I went into the recruiter, and I didn't know nothing about military, so I go in there and talk to the Army recruiter, and he asked me a bunch of questions, and he's like, "Oh, so you have a degree, you can be an officer," and I'm like, "What's that? Like a cop or something?" You know what I mean? So the difference between the enlisted ranks and the officer ranks. Yeah. I had no idea that any of that meant anything, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, what does that mean?" So he explained some of it to me. Well, next thing you know, one thing led to another. I put in for my officer candidate school selection, put my packet together, put it in, and at the same time, like all the state police stuff was running, this OCS thing was running, and I got selected for the officer candidate school. At about the same time, I got picked to take the next step for the state police, so I had to make the decision. Mm-hmm. And I thought the cool thing was with the officer piece to go to OCS, there was no obligation to the Army for like college or West Point or ROTC or anything. So I only owed 3 years from the time I signed up. So I thought, well, I'll do 3 years, get me a new experience, come back home, and then do the police thing. Well, 3 years, I was already promoted to captain because everything was going so full speed with both the operations going on in Iraq and Afghanistan that they were promoting quick. And 36 months into it, I was Captain Weigle. So it was like, well, I'm making more money now than if I'd stayed home. So I just kept going with it. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So that was the decision cycle.
Right. Yeah. So what was life like as a kid?
Oh, it's good.
Just to go back, in Somerset County here, because now you could pick between the two places. But tell us what you think Somerset County meant, like growing up as a kid.
I mean, looking back on it now, I mean, I did, and I think the majority of us all had a good time. We grew up in a great place. We had a little freedom, probably misbehaved a little more than we should have.
A little too much freedom.
Yeah, but I think that helps. I think that helps you grow as a person as well. Because like looking at some kids today that have the, parents that are really sheltering, and the social media that keeps kids like locked up in their basement on their iPads. Yeah. I don't think they get the day-to-day experience and exposure and environmental conditions. Like, we used to run around the woods and eat mud.
Yeah, we weren't inside.
Yeah, kids.
Thank God we didn't have the phones.
And kids don't necessarily do that these days.
Yeah.
As much as they should.
Right. I agree with that 100%. It's funny that I got 3 daughters. We'll kick them outside,
Yeah.
Get outside. And, they do come up with stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, and they're in 4-H now, too. They're showing cattle. Good. So I like that keeps them grounded. Like, they show some cattle for the O'Brien farm, Morgan Johnson.
Okay.
But anyway, and they're cleaning up manure at the show, and they're, they're washing, and that's good for them. Mm-hmm. And I had fun at the fair. I could care less whether I won a ribbon or not. I went there because it was fun for me.
Yeah.
And these girls are the same way. They're having fun.
Yeah.
And the other part does teach them something without them even knowing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just like you just said. It's just those experiences that you learn from. Then we kick them outside, but they all 3 love to read.
That's good too.
It is good.
Yeah.
They take after their mother. They get good grades. But I see them on the hoverboard reading a book, or they're out on top of the playhouse roof reading a book, or they're playing with the chickens or something. So it is good. We have to be mindful of it, honestly, now, because you can be like, they want to be on their phone. You say, no, we have times where we let them.
Yeah.
And they say that's so, don't say anything about how we only have phone time, Yeah. Yeah, but I'm like, hey, that's the way we parent. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And you can misuse it, or you can be useful. One of the two.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, I just want them experience, have a childhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so, I was telling you about this podcast and how it came about and stuff.
Yeah.
I listen to Sean Ryan's show. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of military veterans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's so much fun to listen to. And I found a Vietnam vet from here that's going to come on.
Oh, okay.
But he was a helicopter mechanic.
Okay.
He's like, I didn't get into anything crazy. I'm like, those helicopters couldn't fly if you didn't work on them, and I'm sure they had plenty of holes in them. You know what I mean?
Holes to patch, for sure.
Stuff like that. But so tell me a little bit about the officer training school, which is the Army Command General Staff College. Is that right?
Well, so
in where is that? In Kansas?
Well, that's the Command and General's Staff College.
Okay.
And that was my last duty station at Fort Leavenworth.
Okay.
So I was an instructor there from 2018 until I retired, but I was a student of that course back in 2012 after I got promoted to major.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Any hesitation from the recruiter? Did you go through with your parents? Did you run things by them at all when you were deciding to do this?
The funny thing is, right when I graduated high school, I was already accepted to go to school, to go to college. I was home one day and the phone rang, and it was an Army recruiter. And he was talking about stuff, and it was just something I never considered. Nobody even approached me about it. I didn't even know the option of ROTC or West Point or something, because I was, I guess maybe that was the downfall of not having any technology when we were growing up, as opposed to now there's a world of technology. I was more sheltered and didn't know certain things. So anyhow,
I was the same way.
So anyhow, the Army recruiter calls and he tells me this stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. I said, I'm already accepted to go to college, but you can come over and tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
My mom comes home from work, and I tell her. She calls the Army recruiter back and says, he's going to college, he's not joining no damn Army. Hangs up on him.
Yeah.
This was when I was 18. So, fast forward 2001, I go through, I can make my own decisions, right? And I told my mom what I was going to do. She was supportive, but really upset, especially I still remember the day that I left.
Yeah.
It looked like someone stole her puppy. I have a picture of her just standing there
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's a big deal for parents. I mean,
Yeah.
I got one of my oldest daughter wants to see the world as they have. I changed my mind 12 times from the age of 15 to 18. You know what I mean? Kids do, and that's fine. I can't imagine being a kid now and deciding what to go to college for.
Yeah.
Having to make that decision. And but so I maybe there she wants to teach English abroad.
Okay.
So but I said, well, we got to see the world first so you can decide where you want to go.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say you want to teach in Korea, but you better go and see what Korea's like.
Yeah.
But,
For sure.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So tell us a little bit about like the job that you took in the Army.
Okay.
And where it led you.
Okay.
And stuff like that, because you do get to travel.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just kind of give you like the synopsis of my career and what all I had to do. So, like I said, I joined in 2001. I went to basic training as an officer candidate. So I went to basic training with everybody else at Fort Jackson for 9 weeks, as opposed to after that going to learn like a specific skill like mechanic, MP, infantry. I went to the U.S. Army's Infantry Officer Candidate School at Fort Benning.
Okay.
So it's like a crash course on how to be an officer, to learn leadership, management, mission planning, history, etc. So I went to that at Fort Benning for 14 weeks, still not knowing what job I was going to get, like what I was going to get commissioned as, like an infantry officer, an armor officer, ordnance officer, an engineer officer.
Did you have say over that?
No.
When you go into officer training, they kind of appoint. Are they assessing your abilities and decide where it's best for you? Or?
Well, you would think, because I had a criminal justice and business degree, that I would be an MP officer or an infantry officer. But no, it's like you have very little say. You get to rank order what you want, but by then it's needs of the Army, right? Because they're going to be the guys that go to West Point, the guys that go to ROTC and they excel, they get what they want. The guys that go to OCS are basically like, hey, we need 50 more lieutenants. Let's crash course a couple up and coming guys that we think can make it, and they're going to get what they get. So I got commissioned, and they're like, Weigle, ordnance, and I whispered to my buddy, I'm like, what's that? And he's like, I'm not sure. Right? So yeah, I got commissioned as an ordnance officer, which is maintenance and munitions management. So after that, I went to a 6-month course at Aberdeen Proving Grounds, and they taught you like your job of what you're going to be managing in the Army.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that was at Aberdeen, graduated from there. So it was basically maintenance and munitions management. Then I got stationed in Korea.
Second, Jason, sure. Sorry. Okay.
Good.
Technical thing.
Okay.
I'm still learning this stuff.
Yeah.
I got but I'm trying to feel my way through it.
Yeah.
I'm a carpenter.
Hey, you'll get it figured out.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're telling you you're going to ordnance.
Yeah. So I'm going to be an ordnance officer. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
And then I was the last thing I wanted to do was go overseas. I mean, I didn't care what we're like about deploying. I just didn't want to be stationed overseas. Well, of course, I get stationed in Korea.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was my first duty station, and I'm like, oh man. So I was like,
how was that?
I was like, at first, like, I did not want to go, but I'm like, suck it up. You're gonna have to enjoy this experience. It's only a year. So I go over there, and it was like, at first, it was like, I'm so out of my element. But I made friends, and it was good training. It was good partying.
Had you been out of the country before?
Other than Canada on a bear hunt when I was like 15, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was a new experience.
Yeah. So got there, met a lot of great people. But that's right when the Iraq War kicked off, and a lot of people were trying to re-enlist or sign up for this like incentive to stay in Korea so they wouldn't have to go to Iraq. Well, they did that, but then Big Army deployed our brigade from Korea to Iraq.
Okay.
So I was a platoon leader at the time, a ground support equipment platoon leader. So like my platoon of like 37 or so soldiers fixed like generators and a whole variant of Army equipment. And I just kind of had oversight of that maintenance. So we had to pack up and put all our equipment on trains and move it to the port, and it got shipped overseas, and we flew into Kuwait and then married back up with our equipment and then convoyed from Kuwait up into Al Taqadum Air Base right outside of Fallujah for a year. Yeah.
What was the feeling like leaving Korea to go to Iraq?
It was... I mean, I was in my early 20s, so it was like a feeling of excitement.
Yeah.
But it was like maybe a tense, but maybe a pinch scared, but adrenaline and excitement, I guess.
Yeah, probably all normal reactions, you know.
Yeah. But it was high adventure.
Did you go with a lot of the guys that you said it was most of the people that you were stationed with in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the familiarity of the people that you were with.
Yeah, it was our whole unit that I was there with for 10 months, and we were all getting ready because we had only a 1-year tour, and we rotate in and out of there. Well, then they lost everybody, and they're like, no, this unit stays together and deploys. Mm-hmm. So 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 2nd Infantry Division, packed up its colors, and the first time ever deploy from a deployed area in Korea to another deployed area in Iraq.
Wow. And so what was your duty there in Iraq? What was the mission for you guys?
So for the first half specifically, well, like our entire brigade had a piece of territory that we controlled, and we tried to, meet the objectives of the Army to get rid of the insurgents, set up governments and all that stuff. But like we have all these tanks and Bradleys and the guys that are out there running them. Of course, they get blown up. They need maintenance issues. That stuff's coming back to my guys who are fixing them. Okay. So like I'm maintaining a fleet of vehicles for the brigade. Initially, just within that ground support equipment platoon, but then like halfway through the deployment, I got put in charge of second level maintenance, is what it was called back then, for the entire brigade. Wow. So it was stuff, tanks and Bradleys and pickup trucks, M4s, light machine guns, anything that needed maintenance would come back to us, and we would fix and get it shipped back out.
Wow. Anything? Well, that was a highly contentious area, correct? Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, there was a lot going on there.
Yeah, what there was, yeah.
Some stuff come back that you're like,
Oh yeah, I mean we had
come back that you're like.
Yeah, we had like over 200 vehicles get blown up and destroyed, and they had to be cleaned out, and it was just bad.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, holes through them, and just. I mean, of course, the enemy used those improvised explosive devices, and it was like spy versus spy. Like we would up armor our vehicles better to defeat their devices, and then they would see that, and then they would make a better device that would defeat our armors, and then we'd get newer vehicles, and they'd make a bigger bomb, and so it was
a lot of improvising.
Yes, on both sides.
Yeah. That's some farm tactics that come along with that, right? Just piecing things together and getting it to work, and I think that's something that we learn around here that we tend to take for granted.
Well, I mean, that was the cool thing when I was the ground support equipment platoon leader. I had a section. It was called the service and recovery section. So that had the fabricators and the welders. Mm-hmm. So it was like we didn't have these up armored. We had thin skin Humvees in Kuwait, so. We had thousands of pounds of steel, and my guys were welding in like base plates, so like base plates and sandbags, and then hillbilly armor is what we called it. We didn't have windows; we just had a big armor plate.
Wow!
And that's how we rolled our convoy into.
So did you have any of the guys that were driving those things and operating them that would come to you and give you tips and be like, "Listen, that's great. Can't see," or beef up this area, or are you guys making those choices and decisions?
Oh, I mean, some of both. I mean, some of it would be top down through the operators and the drivers and the gunners be like, man, this is great, but could we have this? But at the same time, we were improving the up armor of vehicles a little bit, but at the same time, we're getting an influx of stuff that was being built back here in the U.S., like actual up-armored vehicles that were coming to us. Like, went from these little light-skinned Humvees to, I think they were called the M1114s. They were like, had the 3-inch thick doors and combat locked and, like a actual remote-controlled turret and everything for the machine guns. So the improvements were being made. We were just trying to stopgap a little bit until that stuff showed up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
How long were you there?
Just a little under 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you had been away, Korea, then Iraq.
Yeah.
And so you were away that whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So what was a typical day like for you in Iraq?
Get up early, try to do some sort of little workout or run. If it wasn't too hot or it wasn't too kinetic, there wasn't too many mortars or rockets flying around. Because that would happen often. We'd get mortar attacks and rocket attacks and stuff. So get up, go to the chow hall, try to get something to eat, and then usually have a morning meeting with the commander and kind of go over the priorities of what was going on, get an idea on what was going on for the day, what may or may not be coming in. Go to the shop, look at the print to see what's getting fixed, what's not getting fixed, and what the statuses are, all the parts coming in. Go check on all my shops, see what they need. Usually go to another meeting, go to an ops meeting, and then usually about once a week we would have this overall maintenance meeting where all the maintenance officers from all the different battalions would come in and they would explain the statuses and get updates from me on all their vehicles, right? Okay. So they know, because in the Army we talk in words of like combat power. How much combat power do we have? Like, are we 90% on tanks, 90% on field artillery devices, etc.? So everybody wants that status so they can report back to their boss, hey, sir, this is where we're at.
Yeah, we're doing good. What's a critical level? Like, do you ever get to a spot where you're like, oh, we're behind or anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it was always tanks. Like tanks are being tracked, by, every individual tank across the whole entire Army. So anytime there's a tank down, everyone's up in arms about when it's going to be fixed again. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's typically 90%. It's the magic number. You don't want to drop below 90% combat power on any of your combat platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And so this dog. That's my dog, you hear. He wants out. I'm gonna let him out.
Yeah, no, go leave him out.
I'm gonna let him out. I can't imagine why he wants out. It's 95 degrees out there.
Yeah, well, he's going to want right back in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's all right. All right. Yeah, it's probably hot over there too, huh?
Oh yeah, like that was one thing that will always stick with me was when we got off the plane in Kuwait. I'll never forget that heat wave. I thought it was like the heat coming off the jet engines, but no, that was just the air. Yeah. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, it was 120 to 130 degrees about every day.
Yeah. And that's hard on equipment too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the dust.
Dust and sand. We'd have sandstorms and couldn't see.
Develop any close relationships over there? Like with guys that, like...
Yeah. I still have guys I'm still friends with today that I was in Korea with, Iraq with, and then two of the guys we lived in the same apartment complex in Colorado when we come back. Because it's weird, instead of going to jump forward just a minute, after Iraq, that brigade did not redeploy back to Korea. It got reflagged as a different unit and went to Fort Carson, Colorado, and Colorado Springs, right outside of Colorado Springs.
Oh, okay.
So that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A change of pace.
Oh, yeah.
Less mortars, less rockets.
Yeah. But it was still high adventure too, because I mean, you just bring a whole brigade of young guys out of Korea where you were allowed to, drink and do whatever you wanted, basically, and you had I'm not saying no responsibilities, but nobody had a vehicle over there, so you walked everywhere. Yeah. Well, and then you send these guys to a war for 12 months, and then you put them in downtown Colorado Springs. Yeah, we had,
I can imagine.
Yeah,
yeah.
We had
That's always like
issues.
something that I was curious about. Like, when I ask you, like, what's the day to day like? You know what I mean? For that's probably like the way you described it. When you're in combat, I guess that's what maybe we have in our head.
Yeah.
But the free time, like how
Yeah.
Do you get a day off? Do you
yeah.
Like when you say it in Korea that you have this free time. It's like, is it so organized to where like you just know what you're doing and you know that I can do this in this certain amount of time and I can have this free time over here? Or
yeah. I mean, a lot of times it's like it's typically outside of ramping up for a deployment or in an actual deployment. The Army is basically, a 9 to 5 job, with the addition of physical fitness training prior to 9. But like that's usually show up at 6 o'clock, work out for an hour, and then you get 2 hours off before you got to be back at work at 9 o'clock. So you can go to breakfast, go take a shower. Back here in the States, I mean, you hop in your vehicle. A lot of people live close enough to go home. Mm-hmm. Go home, check on their kids, check on their wife, take a quick shower, get a bite to eat. Back in the office at 9 o'clock. A lot of people go home for lunch, depending on where you lived. And then, 4 or 5 o'clock, depending on what's going on, you're home. I mean, some days, like on Fridays, they'd have like, family time mandatory. On Fridays, everyone has to be out of the office at 3 o'clock. Yeah. You're home. So everyone talks Army and training. Everyone thinks it's so, regimented and, you're doing it 24 hours a day. No, outside of gearing up for an active deployment or a training exercise where you're in the field simulating, doing your job, it's get as much free time as probably some normal people.
Yeah, yeah. One thing you hear me talk a lot about on this podcast is how much people matter here in Somerset County. And that's especially true when it comes to where you bank. That's why I want to tell you about Somerset Trust Company. They've been serving our communities for generations, and they understand what it means to be a truly local bank with a strong presence across the region. So whether you're running a small business, working towards your financial goals, or planning for the future, Somerset Trust offers the kind of personal service and support you don't always find these days. If you're looking for a bank that's invested in the same communities that we talk about here on the Route 281 podcast, check out Somerset Trust Company and experience the difference of banking locally. Yeah, that's. I guess it's hard. It's hard, to imagine when you're not in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So.
Yeah, I mean I had an expectation that I was going to have a lot less free time and determination on what I was going to do on my own. Mm-hmm. But then once I was in there, once I got done with basic training, OCS and OBC, and I get into regular unit, it's like, yeah, be here at this time, do your job, go to lunch, go home, evening's yours, weekend's yours, 30 days of leave a year. And that can add up. I think you can get up to 60. You can save up to 60. Even during the deployments, we come home. Mm-hmm. Like I was in Korea, I come home for 15 days. I come home like during hunting season, got to hunt a little bit. And I was in Iraq. I come home for 2 weeks. So everyone got that rotation to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, to get that break.
Was it tough to go back then after your leave?
Oh well, I mean.
You're like, oh, I'm going back into that hornet's nest.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I didn't want to leave, but it's like at that point in time, I mean,
it's your job.
Yeah, it's your job, and you have no choice. So that you already ingrained that in your head.
Yeah. Time to go.
It's time to go and suck it up.
Yeah. How's the flight over there?
Oh, just long. Yeah. I try to sleep the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. So what? Where did you go then after Iraq? You said to Colorado.
Yeah. So I went to Colorado. I got done with that maintenance management job that I was doing. I was they call it the shop officer or the maintenance control officer within the grade. And I actually got asked to interview, or got recommended to interview, to be the deputy commanders of Fort Carson, to be his aide. So I interviewed for that and I got selected.
Okay.
So I was the aide for the deputy commander of support at Fort Carson for a year, and then after that, my brigade that I was in Iraq with, they went back to Iraq again, like 9 months later. So if I wouldn't have got the aide job, I'd have been back there again.
Okay.
So did that, got promoted to captain, and then I went to the captain's combined logistics captain's career course.
Okay.
And that was at Fort Lee.
Just to go back, is that aide job something that officer school helped you get? The only reason I ask is because I guess anybody thinking about officer school or the difference between enlisted or an officer, what does that, is there a difference? I mean, I know you said basics basically the same, and then you go to your office school instead of your MOS training. But then, like, when you get into the field, what is the difference between, the officer and then the enlisted guys? And maybe that rapport that you have with them or they have with you, is there?
Well, I mean, I guess you'd think of it like, on the officer side of the house, it's basically like the upper level leadership and management. It's taking orders from higher and disseminating it out to lower, and the enlisted folks, all your sergeants down to your privates are actually doing the actual mechanic work. So like when I was the maintenance control officer, I was looking at everything that needed to be fixed, divvying out to my shops what needed to be fixed, and then my enlisted guys were actually doing the fixing. If that makes sense.
Yep, sure does.
Yeah.
So you're like leadership.
Yeah. Yeah. Leadership and management, encouraging your guys to do what needs to be done on days that nobody wants to do anything.
Yeah.
Coupled with the management of what needs to be done. So it's like a mix of leadership and management,
Do they do a good job
into one.
at teaching you leadership?
I mean, we go through, like, we have courses on leadership. I mean, we have the Army has a actual manual on leadership. They had a whole philosophy called Mission Command Leadership years ago. So there's a big influence on learning and improving your leadership and instilling that into your folks. And I mean that's something that I think there's a few born leaders, but I think everybody kind of has a little bit of it in them, as long as they're put in that situation and they're taught a little bit on how to do it. I mean, it can be done. It can be learned.
And how much of it is leadership, Jason Weigle style? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you have the freedom to rally them the way you want to?
Well, yeah. I mean, as long as it's not illegal, unethical, or immoral, right? It's actually I'd get fired up and just get my guys going and stuff like that. Like, it's funny, when I was a major, I was in charge of maintenance again, and I had a whole bunch of young officers working for me, and their call sign for me was Live Action 6. Because it was always live action, right?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Very comedic, and led through I don't know, comedic or comedy leadership, right? It's serious, but we have to take things with a grain of salt as well.
Yeah, right. Well, I think that's like in anything. When you go through something together, you develop a respect for each other, and I would say that's probably. Like, even basic training, once you come out of it, you're probably like, you have a respect for each other, and then the guys that you go to school with, and then you can add your flavor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, very cool. So, how long in Colorado?
I was there a year, or maybe a little over a year and a half.
Did you like Colorado?
I did, yeah, I loved it. That's where I started. I mean, I basically 8 to 5 job, weekends were mine. I hunted all the time, started exploring the mountains out there, started big game hunting for like mule deer and elk. So yeah, I was able to hunt 2 falls out there. I got an elk and two mule deer bucks.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's something that I would like to do. I think I've had, like, elk to me is one of the most delicious meats.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd like to go and hunt an elk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're huge, majestic animals. It's fun.
What's your favorite rifle for elk?
Oh, I don't know.
That big game, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm a gun nut, so it's like I've shot elk with 300 Weatherby, 270 Weatherby, 7mm Remington Magnum. So any of those 3 are pretty good guns.
I have the rifle that I got whenever I passed my hunter safety course.
Okay.
7mm 08 Remington.
Yeah.
And the guy, remember Black Timber Outfitters?
Yeah.
He sold it to me. He's like, listen, this gun you could take out west, or you could shoot. You could hunt whitetail right here in Somerset.
Yeah.
Long, straight.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they're good guns.
Yeah. You can hunt groundhogs with it, or you can shoot a bear.
Yeah.
Either one's that's me in a nutshell. Like,
okay.
All around.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the right gun for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool. So then, so in Colorado, you're a major or still a captain?
I was just got promoted to captain.
Okay.
So I had about 3 or 4 years in at that time.
And so with each promotion, your pay goes up, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Just so
yeah. So
people understand.
Your pay goes up as you increase in rank and you increase in length of service.
Okay.
So, like, as a young officer, every year you were getting a little pay bump.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time you went from, like, 2nd lieutenant to 1st lieutenant to captain, you were getting a little pay bump. So, every year you're making a couple grand more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so tell me about, like, where you went after that. And then.
Okay.
And you eventually, lieutenant colonel, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, in the end, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, from there, I got promoted to captain. Well, now the Army expects more of you, right? Now you're going to be trained at another school, so you're able to lead a larger organization. So I was sent to the Command and General Staff, the Combined Logistics Captain's Career Course at Fort Lee, Virginia, for 6 months. So I went there and learned basically more leadership stuff, more technical stuff on how to better manage maintenance and more higher level tactical and operational sustainment of Army forces.
Okay.
Right. So how to set up a huge maintenance operations area, how to set up like a brigade support area and all that stuff. So we do all this planning. So that was 6 months worth of that. And then where did I go after that? Oh, okay. So I went to Fort Riley. That's when Afghanistan started picking back up. I went to Fort Riley to train for 3 months to be part of a military transition team member to go over to Afghanistan and train the Afghan forces on how to take the fight to the enemy, the Taliban.
Yeah.
Or how to do, like in my case, how to do maintenance and ammunition management within their own Army and police forces.
Was that hard?
It was. Yes. There's a little language barrier there.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, but we trained for 3 months there, and we trained helped train a lot of Air Force and Navy folks because they were getting selected to go over there and do some of this training. And I had some good training. Did a lot of like night live fire ranges with like thermals and MVGs on 50 cal and 30 cal machine guns, Mark 19 grenade launchers, shooting 40 millimeter grenades.
Yeah.
So
I bet you hated that.
Oh yeah, it was rough. It's like I just
being a hunter. Yeah, that sort of stuff probably comes natural.
Oh yeah. That was one thing I was always good at was the shooting.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we went to Afghanistan, and we went to a little place called Herat, Afghanistan, not far off the western border of Iran. It was a place called Camp Stone. Mm-hmm. And I get there with another guy, a staff sergeant that I trained with, and the colonel the active duty colonel that was in charge of that base, like pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I need somebody to like take all these organizations together and like make a company out of it be like a company commander and get the property fixed, because it was kind of hodgepodge put together. And this '06 colonel didn't want to do all that, mid-level management stuff, but he didn't have a company commander. So he was like, you did this, you did that. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, you're going to be my commander. I'm like, okay. So I took all these little organizations, put it together, got all their leaders, brought them together. I'm like, okay, this is the deal. This is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to freaking, make this camp secure, ensure that we're meeting the commander's intent. And, so that's the way, using, the position that you're put together. I didn't know I was going to be put in that position to do that. I thought I was just going to be training Afghanistan forces to, hey, this is your gun, point it that way, and this is how you fix it, right? Yeah. But, now it's like I'm basically in charge of security for this whole base. Yeah. And in charge of, I had a maintenance platoon, I had a medical platoon, I had all like the admin sections. I had like a little Navy section that ran the personnel and ran like the little store that was on the base. It was like inventory of that stuff that was being sold, and then you had people misbehaving and doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, and then I had a security forces platoon at first they were out of the New York National Guard, and then the second half there was a platoon out of the South Carolina National Guard. So they were infantry guys that supplemented the security for our MIT teams that were going out of the wire and helping train the Afghans. Yeah. Yeah. So that was another 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And then how long were you in altogether? 20s?
Just under 22.
Okay. Just under 22.
Yeah. So at this point in time, I'm at like 6. I'm at like 6 years.
Wow.
At the end of my second deployment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you have? Did you at any point in that time where you think, I'm going to go this far and get out, or did it kind of just naturally happen that you were going to like, I'm going to stick this out?
Well, I'd say that time period in Afghanistan, it was 07, 08, is when I kind of figured I was probably going to stay in. I was leaning towards staying in because it was weird. It was like, while I was the aide for the commander at Fort Carson, he's like, hey, the Army will pay you tuition assistance. You're going to have time to do it. Why don't you start your master's degree online? So I did. And then when I got back from Afghanistan, that second time, I think I finished it. And then while I was in Afghanistan, there were so many captains getting out from multiple deployments back to back that the Army offered an incentive to stay in for another, I think, 2 or 3 years. It was like language school, ranger school, master's degree, choice of assignment, or 30 grand. Well, I already got my master's degree. I already had approved choice of assignment on my coming back, so I took the 30 grand. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was kind of thinking, well, that'll put me at about 8 to 9 years, 10 years. So right around the 10-year mark is where you got to make your decision. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, okay, if I go over 10, I'm committed, because another 10 I can retire, mm-hmm. right? So I was kind of leaning towards possibly staying in, but I was like, well, I got my master's degree, I got my Army leadership training, and I got 30 grand. So
yeah, you could have done anything.
Yeah, I could have done whatever I wanted. So I was like, I'm in a good position now. We'll just kind of see how everything goes. So redeployed from there, and I got choice of assignment. I got assigned to be a professor of military science, assistant professor of military science at the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, so I lived back here from 2008 until 2010.
Yeah.
I lived in Somerset and drove to Pittsburgh or Greensburg every day, depending on where they needed me.
Yeah.
And did that. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And just helped recruit college kids that potentially were thinking about joining the Army, and talking to them about the ROTC, scholarship program and all that stuff.
Very cool. No, I know. Like I just saw this. Like the Navy just hit its recruitment goal, 45,000 new sailors, 3 months ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And like being retired from the Army and looking at the country now and kind of where we're at with the war in Iran, and Trump's leadership and Hegseth, and you see them meeting these goals, what is that? What does that say to you? And then, like, what does that mean? Like, are you still proud of the military that you served? And like, it does seem like they were struggling to hit some recruitment goals there a few years ago, and now it's like everything's jumped up.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different aspects to recruiting. I mean, it's not just leadership or the Republican or Democratic administration. A lot of it is economic as well, right? When kids are looking to get a job, and it's like the job market's way low. Of course, then the Army's ability to recruit is going to be higher. And then another thing is, like, the Army was the military was kind of behind the times a little bit when it came to, all right, so the recruiters are, this age, and the kids that we're recruiting are this age. It's just like that whole, change in information technology from the time that we were a kid to what kids have today. So I think there was like a lapse in, mindset or being on the same level with these kids. So the Army actually, I don't know about the other services, but the Army actually came up with there's actual marketing officers now. You can be commissioned as a marketing officer, and they can help with their recruiting campaigns on how do we get to these people. So I think overall, there's a little bit of more patriotic mindset across the younger population, maybe with this administration, but also the military has been taking a lot more steps on how do we get into the minds of these kids that are on their phones all the time and aren't ever going to walk into a recruiting station.
Right.
So the military's been getting a lot better at that.
Yeah.
And another thing is, like, they have increased the options on how to recruit, on like doing certain things where you have like a pre-basic training. So you have people that typically may have been too overweight to go to basic training. Well, they go to this pre-basic training and they learn that they can lose weight, and then all of a sudden are like, oh boy, this is great. I really want to do this. So it's like giving people that maybe wouldn't have had the opportunity and have them decide for themselves before they're locked into a contract to go. And I think that helps a young person who may be having trouble decide.
Is that like ROTC? Or is ROTC you're already signed up?
Oh, well, no. I mean, ROTC is for if you want to go the officer route while you're in college. Okay. And you're not... there becomes a point where you're contracted. They call you a contracted cadet. That basically means that you accepted the scholarship, the money for from the Army to pay for the rest of your college. Now you're going to owe them 4 to 5 years after you graduate. But like typically the first 2 years, freshman and sophomore year, it's basically you can go to the ROTC classes if your university offers them, and you don't have an obligation. So you can go to it and kind of get an idea, talk to the cadre that are there, like when I was a professor, and get an idea if it's something that you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think about it, with my 3 daughters, one wants to be, 2 want to be a teacher, 1 wants to be an attorney.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, well, man, paying for college, it's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And if the military wants to pay for your education and help you and give you a good education, and you serve your country and you have that, that background, I think it's a great way for kids to serve their country and to get the opportunities, leadership, experiences, and I just think if I had to do it over again, I probably would have went that route. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a good opportunity for kids?
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity for kids that want to experience something that's bigger beyond themselves, right?
Yeah.
And then in the end, they're going to benefit from it tremendously. Just like, your daughter saying she's interested in, being an attorney or legal. Well, the military needs attorneys. They hire attorneys. They commission, students that are in college that, want to go to law school or be an Army attorney. The military will pay for their school. Yeah. And now, of course, they're going to owe a certain amount of years of being an attorney, but I mean, they're a regular attorney, except they're just doing Army stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, after that initial obligation, they can get out and go be a civilian attorney. Or if they like it, they can continue the service and, progress in rank and,
Yeah. You hear about, like, some of these, I don't know what they call them, JAG officers or making decisions. Like, could you imagine, like, can we take this target down? Well, let's check with our attorney first. Like, people who have to decide whether that's actual,
Yeah, so like a lot of the JAG attorneys, they have to go to, special schooling to understand, warfare. Like the warfare, the Geneva Convention, the laws of warfare. So they can advise the commander on whether a certain target that they want to take out based on the rules of engagement can be lawfully targeted and destroyed.
Yeah. So I'm like, are there like attorneys on comms that are, like, they are or they figure this out? I'm sure there's all kinds of prep work that goes into taking the target out. Mm-hmm. But when it happens in the moment, do they have like?
Well, I mean, it's like a lot of times, like when it's in the moment, the rules of engagement are going to be to the point where the advisement isn't going to have to be like. The advisement has already taken place before you got to that point.
Yeah.
What made it hard was during the Afghanistan and Iraq times where it wasn't full out combat all the time. It was like peacekeeping, nation building. Oh crap, here's the Taliban. What are they doing? Can we target this house? What are the rules of engagement? Well, do you see any weapons and stuff like that? So it's like then, you most likely within your tactical operations center where the commander who makes that decision is setting with his operations officer, aviation officer, logistics officer, all that, he most likely would have his legal attorney, sitting there. So like during the daily or weekly targeting meeting, that legal advisor would be there, and then he would be able to say, well, this is what we would have to do to make this a legal target, or, this is no way a legal target based upon these rules of engagement.
Yeah, and it all just goes down to the... Yeah, that's so much logistics.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing, really.
Yeah.
And it takes so many people.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's very cool. So then, you got... I think you were about 10 years of service or so where you left off, but like then the last 10...
last 10. Okay, so I left University of Pittsburgh, ROTC, and I went to Fort Hood, Texas. And I was there. I was supposed to go to this one unit, but right before I left University of Pittsburgh, I made the promotion list to major. So I got selected below the zone, promotion to major. So actually, like a year or so early. So then while I was at Fort Hood, I got promoted to major, which then I got switched to a different unit, to the 1st Cavalry Division as the contracted logistics officer. So I had to go went to Fort Lee to get this crash course on like contracting, and went to Afghanistan again for a year and worked in Bagram at the Joint Operation Headquarters, and I was in charge of all the contracted logistics for Eastern Afghanistan.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was probably one of the hardest and most probably stressful, strenuous, but most rewarding job that I've ever had. It was like 18-hour days, briefing the general every week on what contracts are taking place, and I mean we're talking millions and millions of dollars across thousands of miles and all these different bases, and it all impacted, not all of it, but a lot of it impacted the safety and the security of our folks that were stationed at these little combat outposts.
That's incredible. What made it hard? Like, what was the hardest part of that position?
Well, I mean, it was just, I was dealing with like a lot of different people that that weren't really working for me. I was working for them, supporting those guys that were on the ground. Mm-hmm. And they were on the ground like as captains, like I was, trying to meet their boss's intent to improve the security on their compound by, getting more HESCO barriers or getting an Afghan security unit or getting more up-armored SUVs so they go to town without getting blown up. So these captains and lieutenants are all working with me to try to get their contracted packets and money approved by the general, right? So I had to present it in a way at this board called the Joint Acquisition Review Board. And it was chaired by the general and the chief of staff, a full board colonel. And so my team would put it all together and we would present it. And then they would either approve it or not approve it. And then I had to deal with all the non-approves because if it wasn't approved, then this guy's boss back at their camp, 200 mile away, now he's mad, right? Because his stuff didn't get approved. Well, then, so I would have these colonels call me, hey, why can't you get General so-and-so to get this approved? And I'm like, I don't know, sir, I ain't supposed to tell you this, but if you really, really want it, you may have to call him directly. Well, then that happens. Well, then the general comes to me, why is Colonel so-and-so calling me directly? Yeah. Right? So it was like I was between like a rock and a hard place. Yeah. And I knew I was at a point in time where, like, as a major, I had to do really, really well in all my positions to make the next rank of lieutenant colonel. And if you didn't make the next rank of lieutenant colonel, you most likely weren't going to be able to stay in for 20 years and retire. So it was, that was probably part of the stress as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit of pressure to.
Yeah. Pressure to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So similar to a, like a corporate setting.
Yeah.
In a way that you got a job and you got a job to do and you need to do a good job at it to get that promotion and.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed the lifestyle, and
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I mean, it was fast paced. I mean, it was you basically created your own success by trying to improve your own systems and processes to be able to better present your case or the information that you needed. Basically, I'd say your ability of turning data and facts and numbers and information into knowledge for your boss.
Yeah.
So you're not just presenting him, well, sir, here's a bunch of blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You kind of have to sell it.
Yeah, like your ability and the stuff that I've learned over time and what I've helped my younger officers learn is like your ability to influence your subordinates to do the work for you so you're not doing all the work that they're doing, but you're empowering them to do it while you're collecting the information and being able to present that information to your boss in a way that he can make a decision on the stuff that you're working on. So he doesn't have to filter through all the minutia.
Yeah, right.
You're basically presenting the most likely course of action that he needs to approve.
Yeah. And I would imagine the trust level is like, that's rewarding too. Mm-hmm. When somebody says, okay, this is good, and they put their trust in you.
Yeah,
I would imagine
definitely.
That's the rewarding part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you have to earn that trust.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust is a big thing. In military and in our leadership schools of thought and everything.
Yeah. So, you were awarded the Bronze Star. Mm-hmm. Do you want to say how you were awarded that, or?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like for valorous combat. I didn't take a hill with a machine gun, but I got it for all the work that I did during that year I was in Afghanistan doing that contracted logistics.
Yeah.
Just
that's awesome. Congratulations.
18 hours a day. Just working through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool. among many others. But I just
Yeah.
wanted to ask you about that one.
Yeah.
And it's a Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal.
Yep.
But yeah, that's very cool. Congratulations, Somerset County's proud of you.
Yeah.
I am anyway. Thank you, by the way, for doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
I appreciate it. Because here we are, July 4th weekend.
Yeah.
And you're willing to take the time and come out here and explain to me, and I don't have a clue other than what I see and listen to.
Yeah.
But it is, I just, something that I have a lot of respect for, or military and police officers, I think it's, I don't know, it's the patriot in me that respects these things.
No, it's good. I mean, I'm glad you're doing something like this and get guys to tell their stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good too we didn't have this when I was 18.
Yeah.
If there would have been, maybe it would have changed a career path for me.
Yeah.
To sit and listen to somebody like you to share their story. So I think it's important. I get something out of it, whether anybody else does or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very cool. So anything else from your military side that you want to share? I mean, that stuck out? Any any funny stories or anything like that? I'm sure you have funny stories that followed you throughout your military career.
I had all sorts.
But I know you're into hunting and trapping now.
Yeah.
And you're taking a little bit of time. You said to decide, and that's good. You deserved it.
Yeah.
So, tell us about how you got to the farm in Missouri.
Okay. Well, so I ended up at Fort Leavenworth as my last duty station. I had another deployment in between that, so four deployments in total. A tour at Louisiana, Fort Polk. I was training brigades down there, and then after that, then I went up to Fort Leavenworth, and I was an instructor from 2018 to like 2024 when I retired. I could have left. I got selected for battalion command as a lieutenant colonel, but I would have had to move to Fort Bragg and take over this unit. And I already had like almost 20 years in, and I bought this farm just for hunting. Like I was looking for a hunting lease, and this farm was for sale, so it was on Craigslist.
Yeah.
And so I declined battalion command because I had a farm and I wanted to hunt. I had 20 some years in, and I was like, man, this is the first time I actually have something and don't have to move again, right? So I bought it, and I just continued been improving it and for hunting.
Was there a house on the property?
No, I ended up buying a little house just right at the edge of town, so it's about 6 miles away from the property.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I bought another 60 acres that was kind of right next to it, not adjoining but very close. And then I leased some ground down by the Kansas City airport just for hunting. So, but yeah.
Very cool. And so you come back here, do some hunting back here in PA too?
I do. I come back and hunt with my dad, my nephews, and then usually every year my dad comes out there and hunts. Sometimes I have a buddy comes out there and hunts. Dad and I are going to Newfoundland this year to go moose hunting.
Oh, nice.
He wanted to go moose hunting, so we're gonna.
You ever killed a moose?
No, no. A couple elk. I've gotten a couple elk. A lot of whitetail deer. I mean, it's basically my
I saw some of your pictures.
my passion.
Yeah. Now, the deer on your property. I mean, what's the biggest buck you've killed on your property?
Right on my property, I killed one that was in the low 160s.
Yeah.
And then on that lease property last year, I killed one with a bow. It was right at 170.
Wow.
And then I've killed, I don't know, probably 20 or so since I've been in the Midwest, all over 140, mostly with a bow.
Wow.
Actually, a lot of them on public land as well. Like I have that farm, but I don't like to pressure it. So like every spring when I go shed hunting, I scout another public area and just mark everything down. And I have a system and a process that I've learned through being in the Army on how to schedule this all out.
And it turns into a successful hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, where I go out with a wing and a prayer.
yeah.
And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
A lot of times I lose, but I'll hunt for meat. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But around here, I mean, which I do see. My nephew's a very good hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's been out. He got a really nice mule deer out in Colorado this year.
Oh, good.
And I'll have to show you a picture.
Yeah.
And him and his buddy, they both shot an elk.
Good.
But yeah, he's got some big bucks around here. You know, and I've seen a few, but
yeah,
never come in front of my scope while I'm out. But
okay. Well, I mean, it's just it's just. I mean, there's more and more bigger ones here. Yeah. You know, back when we were a kid.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, you know, it's time and effort. I mean, I probably spend thousands of hours. Like, I have everything documented. Like, I have like 43 tree stands on 11 different properties with like 40 different cameras, and you know, I have everything marked in my phone, and just the preparation to be able to get to that level, thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I enjoy the whole gambit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, getting a shot at a nice buck is just like icing on the cake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. The process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it takes that, and then like you said, getting the shot is the reward at the end.
Yeah.
For all your hard work.
Mm-hmm. You know, planting food plots, cutting trees, creating, you know, bedding areas, cutting shooting lanes, putting in tree stands, digging in water holes, putting in mock scrapes, like creating lines of movement to keep the deer on your property, screening in a certain area where you have a neighbor that may be trying to shoot every little buck that he sees. You know, playing a screen, do that. It's just all these little things, and a lot of those little things we talked about podcasts. It's stuff that I've learned from watching these guys that do these podcasts. That, you know, they talk about certain topics of, you know, hunting, you know, how to keep mature bucks on your land, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, there's so much information out there. You can learn. You can learn whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know.
You just gotta want to learn it.
Yeah. Very good. Well, hey. Once again, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
It's great to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Who knew it would have been in my podcast studio next time I saw you.
I know.
Yeah, it's been a while. But glad to see you're doing well.
Yeah,
and,
you too.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
you
a big
too,
one.
Yeah.
Any plans for the 4th?
I don't know. I'll probably just go drink a bunch of beer.
There you go. Yeah, celebrate 250.
Yeah,
all
for
right,
sure.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. Yeah. Just proud of you. I think that if there's young people out there listening, I mean, it's somebody who's gone the distance and retired then from the Army. You know, it's a new thing for me to hear your story, and I just think it's a great option.
Yeah,
it's a great career.
It is.
You obviously took full advantage of it and did a great job at it.
Yeah,
and
I'm still half young, and I have a deer farm, and I can just go do what I want.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I got to, you know, not bragging, but I got the leadership and the qualifications and the stuff that if I want to get back into the job world, I can. But for right now, I'm content.
Yeah.
You know?
Very good. Well, congratulations. Yeah. And thank you.
Yeah, sure thing.
All right, Jason Weigle. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Hey, I want to take a minute to talk to you about my wife's travel agency, Quiet Waters Travel. She has a true gift for this. She loves planning travel, and she's really good at it. She's the kind of person who digs into every detail, finds the hidden gems, and makes the whole experience feel effortless for everyone involved. She works with families, couples, and groups, helping them plan everything from cruises and all-inclusives to bucket list adventures. She's even coordinating a private yacht voyage to the Galapagos for 16 people next spring. And if you know anything about group travel, that's no small feat. And with wedding season in full swing, she'd love to help some of you newlyweds or soon-to-be married couples start dreaming about the perfect honeymoon. Here's something most people don't realize. Using a travel agent doesn't cost you anything extra. She's paid by the travel suppliers, not you. You just get someone in your corner handling every detail. If a trip has been on your mind, reach out to her. Visit quietwaterstravel.com. That's quietwaterstravel.com, and tell her the Route 281 podcast sent you.